Let's see here. 2/18/2025, 7:32 a.m. EDA is in session. It's a balmy 19 degrees outside, minus 19. And Dave is with us remote. Can you hear us? Well, while you're tuning in, Dave, for the record, I guess we cannot have any votes from you today because you're not in a public location. So for future use, if you guys are doing this next time, go to a McDonald's or something and do it from there. All right, call to order. We have done that there. And approval of the agenda. We're looking for an okay on that from somebody.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. A second, please.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Dave, you there?
Yep.
Ah, excellent. I can hear you too. Keep that volume up. I like that. Did you say?
For 70, I ain't so bad.
Okay. Did you say you approved the agenda? You okay with that?
Yes, Can I vote that way?
No.
No,
Okay, so
sorry.
just curious.
Okay.
There's nothing pressing here anyway.
Consent agenda, 7:30. Okay. Approval of minutes of January 21st, 2024. Everybody go through their packet because I didn't see no.
No, the minutes were excluded, so that is my fault.
Do we need to vote on that then?
No, we'll have two meeting
time.
minutes for next meeting.
Okay. Open forum. Anybody else online to discuss anything we're going to have here today?
There's nobody online.
Nobody online? So 26 in a row, nobody online. Got it. No open forum. Moving on to old business. For old business, I'd like our admin to include the old businesses that never got done the previous time, even if there's like 400 of them.
Okay.
I want them in this section
Old
so that we
business.
don't drop them off and not get them handled in later events.
Okay,
Even though we're not going to probably attach each one, but it'll just be on our radar.
on the list, okay.
You agree with that?
Yeah, makes sense.
Vice Chair, you good with that?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
New business. Go ahead.
We still have old business for the flower pots.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So-
Flower pots. You were kind of lead on this last time. What would you like to do with the flower pots this time?
Well, something I've noticed over time here, and I think it's just a lack of wanting to do anything about it, or maybe not even knowing. To me, the flower pots were supposed to be for the downtown area of the city, and right now they're spread all over the place.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them all down on the main drag. And then I think we need to talk about, to me, the fee really discouraged people last year.
The fee does what?
The fee discouraged people to participate last year, I think. We had trouble getting rid of the last couple. We were $150, and then we went to $200. Whether or not the $50 is a big deal or not, but we're only putting $400 or $500 worth of cost in them. So we really don't need to be charging $200 per pot. Unless we are all gonna keep on buying them for the eternity. I mean, it'd be nice to get the regular public into it.
It looked like there was just one resident that wasn't either on this committee or the council that purchased one last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. That was the Durants, right? Basically.
There might be two, but the whole idea is to get the public. It was to enhance the look of the city, downtown area.
No, I agree. It seemed like maybe they moved them last year in the winter time to new locations, and then they
That's-
decided to leave them.
I know the reason why. I mean,
Yeah.
I get the reason.
No,
why.
I agree with you. They should be downtown. That was the original plan. I will say, and I actually stopped and complimented the lady that was working on them. I mean, she did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Comparatively to previous years. So if she's willing to keep doing it, that's awesome.
So your first recommendation is bring it back to 150,
Well, my first recommendation is to move them back down to Old Town.
and then moving back down
Yeah.
downtown.
And,
So
and I
that's-
think we could lower the price. I mean, there's no reason we need to make money on it. And even at 150, I mean, our cost is only about 450, 500 bucks. That's what we get charged,
All in?
all in.
Is that accurate?
I don't know.
I thought it was.
I look at the payment of claims, so I know.
Well, we got 8 of them, so if we charge $100, we're at 800, we're actually making 400.
Well, we gotta get some public works, some time and money to get them put out there too.
Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
little effort.
So you wanna go to 100?
You guys talk, it doesn't bother me, but I'd like to get more public engaged in it.
Okay, so downtown,
Yep.
so is this a vote thing we gotta do, or what do we gotta do here, John?
Just a
direction.
recommendation,
Yeah.
and we don't have to vote on it.
Yeah.
I think 100's a good number, and I think we need to publicize it better, so, I mean, it's only February, so there's time to get it in the communicator and on the website and stuff, and see if we can.
Is there a cost for
Awareness.
maintenance?
No, she doesn't, she
No,
doesn't
I mean,
charge us for it.
We have one person that plants the flowers in the spring and then replaces them with a winter scene in the winter. So, our cost is watering.
Marty takes care of that,
Right, it's still a cost, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, that's our direction then? We're all over that?
So the consensus is to drop it from $200 to $100 and to have all the flower pots on Robinson, main stretch of Robinson.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
We all good?
Do we, I mean, the gal that was doing it, the lady's doing it, who knows her, and are we gonna approach her again?
Yeah, Jack will call
Yeah.
her.
I do not know her personally, but yeah.
I mean.
I don't have a problem, I'll call her, I mean, I know.
Yeah, I
what
mean,
to
she
do.
not only planted them, but I mean, she was out there like deadheading the flowers and everything. I mean, I saw her out there numerous times through the summer working on them.
Works out at Momberg's, that the gal?
I don't know where
I don't
she
think
works,
she's
but
Walmart.
Julie or Judy?
Jane,
she did an
I think.
unbelievable job.
Could be wrong.
So,
I know they look good.
Yeah.
Okay,
should we be considering compensating this lady? I mean, not maybe officially, but maybe a nice gift certificate to Dean's or something. I mean, that takes some effort.
I would be for it.
I don't have a problem with it.
so it costs us a nickel. How about we give the rest to her?
Or give her a gift card or something. I mean, I don't think, well, I don't know if she's doing it for the money, but I think some recognition.
Gas
would be-
money, if you-
Yeah.
here and there is power fly, I don't know what it takes to maintenance flower pots. You okay with giving the rest to her?
Well, I think it'd be good to give her something, I don't know what the rest is exactly, but.
Okay, what do you want to do?
I think we can decide on the amount later, but I agree, it doesn't, I don't know if it needs to be all, because we don't know exactly what our costs are for the year.
Yeah, it
Yes,
might be
we could
different this
definitely do
summer.
something.
500 all in, right?
Well, that's what it has been, that's what it was last year. I don't know if it's gonna be the same.
Is this her company?
No, she's just a private citizen.
I would do a gift card to her for like $250 or something like that. That, she can take herself to dinner or whatever. It's more the thought and
Yeah.
the recognition than anything, I think.
All right, let's do that. 250 towards her.
Okay.
We'll cash out zero break at 500 for us. And then we'll try and move these and let's get them in everywhere for this year.
Right, because 8 times 100 is 800, 500 into it, that leaves 300 left. Seems like a pretty simple,
Yeah. You're good with that, right, Dave?
yep.
Okay, new business. DCM Farms preliminary plat. This is you, John.
Yep, thank you. So the concept plan was reviewed by the EDA, and I can't remember what month it was, this past summer. The project includes, we're down to 253 single-family lots and about 10 acres of commercial retail. For the EDA's perspective, I'm more focused on the commercial retail portion of it. Nothing has changed since the concept plan. The project does require an environmental assessment worksheet, or EAW for short, which looks at 21 different elements of the whole development altogether. Specific to the commercial project, I should say the whole project overall is going to estimated to produce about 11,000 vehicles a day, and 70-some% of that is from the commercial retail portion of it. So for the EDA's comments, I guess what I'm looking for, is there anything that you would recommend changing on the commercial retail portion?
What triggered the EWA?
EAW, it's the commercial retail proposal. So
Also,
in the comprehensive plan, so the comprehensive plan is a 20-year land use plan. It guides these properties as low-density residential. Because the developer is proposing commercial retail, that triggers both a comprehensive plan amendment and an EAW. So it's the commercial portion of it that triggers the EAW.
Isn't it also the number of homes, or is that a bigger number?
It's a bigger number. I couldn't say. I think you want to say it's like 275 or something.
Yeah, it could be somewhere between 275 and 300 is the threshold that would require an EAW regardless.
So it's on the edge either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
are there? I can't remember that strip that goes down along 121. Are those homes there now that they're gonna?
Yeah. So
Okay, they're buying those out.
when the concept plan came in twice. In the original version, the developer had 4 or 5 different options proposed, and one of the options was apartments in the northeast corner. And it was clear from both the council and the planning commission that there was not support for apartments, so they are villa townhomes. So this is, I'll just say, skinny townhomes that are detached. This is specific to the northeast corner, 40-foot wide lots with an alleyway. So that middle block.
You said 40 wide, right?
40 feet wide. So similar to homes in Minneapolis, St. Paul. So there's an alleyway where they would have rear-loaded garages on these two, I'll say 2 blocks. Along this side, there are front-loaded garages.
That seems pretty tight, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the closest comparison, if you drive through Maple Grove, means Hemlock Lane north of Elm Creek Boulevard, I believe there's a large, probably about 2-3 blocks of tall, skinny homes.
They're really tall, like 3 stories
Yeah,
tall?
3 stories.
Like row houses.
Is that what
Row
these
housing?
3 stories?
Yeah.
Okay.
This probably would not be 3 stories. And I think these are guided more as 2. If I remember.
So what do you want from us today? Is this just an update, or?
If there's any recommended changes to the commercial retail portion of it. So
Where is the commercial retail?
that's the southeast corner down here.
Oh, okay.
The developer wasn't really sure what would go in there, and so there's just some, I'll say, more generic placement or names of buildings. So there's, shown on here is a gas station convenience store, and then there's several buildings which include a coffee shop, a daycare, a bank, and then several retail buildings.
Was it there last time we seen it?
Yes.
It
Did
was
we-
just laid out different, but
Did we have, what were we saying last time about it?
So staff's recommendation was that it be more neighborhood oriented versus a auto oriented kind of strip mall.
right.
So the EDA's comments were to also have more, I'm going to say, residential oriented architecture.
Right.
Anybody want to change their opinion on that?
Not necessarily. One thing and it's kind of related to the commercial, but the traffic numbers that are being quoted, the number of trips, I can't get my head around 10,890 trips out of 250 homes in a gas station.
Well, it's also the retail. So with the EAW, it looks at kind of the worst, well, I think for the retail, what it could be. So that's assuming it's, fully leased out and there's, I'm going to say probably most of the traffic would be generated by the gas station. I don't know how
Yeah,
that.
and I'm still struggling with it because
Yeah,
I think
I
it says
agree.
in there 8,385 trips were attributed to the commercial
Yeah.
piece. If you just think half those people are buying gas and they buy 10 gallons, okay, which is, I think, conservative also. They're selling 43,000 gallons of gas a day. That doesn't sound like a normal gas station to me.
I think
I
they
mean-
put some numbers on a wall and then they just throw a dart at it.
Feels
Well, I
like
mean,
that.
what's the traffic count on 121 in total? I mean, River Road's only like 10,000 a day, and River Road seems busier than,
Fernbrook's plenty busy, but,
Yeah.
well,
So where you going with this?
I think that, I mean, I understand, throw a real conservative number on it and see how it washes out.
Yeah.
But there's a number of the existing residents that, as you know, are not happy about this whole thing, especially the gas station. And to say it's gonna put another 10,000 cars in front of their houses is kind of alarming amongst the other things they're concerned about. And so I can't make that number work, so that's why I'm questioning.
I can, for the EAW discussion at the council, I can try to get some numbers from comparable gas stations.
I think that'd be good. I
Yeah.
think it'd fine for the EAW. It shows the worst possible case and that, but I think we need something closer to real for.
Okay.
So with those numbers, you're saying that the local citizens have some validity to their claims?
Well, that's not their biggest worry. It's the gas station itself and the lights and the noise and the gas that's going to seep in the ground allegedly. And
They're on wells.
Mr. President, members of the EDA, if I could provide a little bit of clarification. I believe in regards to the trips that they're calculating for the EAW, that's one trip coming in to the gas station, and leaving the gas station is a second trip. So the factoring in the coming and going is 2 trips rather than there's 3,000 vehicles coming in. So I think that's how they calculate what is a trip in terms of the EAW.
I guess I had one other question. Is that a new road that's gonna go across
Yeah, so
121?
this is 113th that goes down to
Right.
Sundance Golf Course. That's going to be rerouted to 114th.
So close 113.
This would be closed, and then there'd be a roundabout here at 114th.
Okay. And I assume you're getting them to pay for the roundabout, probably?
I'm sorry?
We're getting them to pay for the
The
roundabout?
developer.
Yeah. Okay, I was just curious. It seemed against what generally you hear. We don't ever want new roads on county roads, so.
Sure.
Is
Yep.
that a holding pond?
I'm sorry?
Is that a holding pond, lower right?
Yes, this is holding.
So you start moving some water around, what are the wells gonna do in the area?
That holding pond will be more surface water.
Yeah.
Water, yeah.
It's still gonna be down there, 10, 12, 15, depending on what your big depths are. Are they on shallows or are they on deeps over there?
I don't know.
I'm more interested on, I guess, the roundabout right there. I don't know what you guys think about another, putting a roundabout right there that's
I think
essentially slowing traffic down.
I think that's
I mean,
the
the only
goal.
reason you could justify
Yeah.
it would be the neighborhood, I guess. I don't know how many, are there other neighborhoods planned back further that are gonna connect to that? What's the master?
To the east,
No, to the
to the west.
west.
There's not much.
So there'll be some development of the golf course, fairly minimal, but this is primarily serving Sundance and then Sundance Greens to the south and then DCM Farms to the north.
So, I
The,
have a question.
Yep.
So the top center on Plat, it right there, yes. We're talking about a lot of traffic trips just for the area in green, but now add up that, what's planned for the next phase, and I think that the EDA's, responsibility needs to take the whole thing. Obviously, the gas station, that light retail, there are some concerns, but man, we developed that top plot there, and all of a sudden, that's gonna double what we're talking about right now.
Well, there's a whole bunch of homes back up in there somewhere.
That's
Yeah,
being built now.
this is Brayburn Trails East, which is under construction now.
Yeah, and then, to the west of that or north of that, isn't there more homes? I thought there was a whole bunch back in there.
Yeah, this is Brayburn Trails, so yes,
Brayburn Trails.
this is also almost built out.
Okay. I would agree, that seems a little odd spot for a roundabout.
Yeah.
Unless you have a justification for a lot of traffic coming there.
Yep, so the roundabout is halfway between 117th and the Rush Creek Parkway intersections.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we're gonna be able to get around the roundabouts. I mean, if you, I don't care where you go, you know, the trend is to not put in controlled traffic intersections. That roundabouts basically take care of themselves. They don't need a whole lot of maintenance, and I just think that the county, the state, you know, they're going to continue to push roundabouts.
I also think they're good. It's gonna help slow that road.
Well, it wasn't a conversation about whether roundabout or traffic light. It was just, seems like an odd place to, you would want to put roundabouts and or traffic lights where you have a lot of traffic, you know, or at least a decent amount. That was the only thing I think we were talking about.
My concern about the roundabout, this came up at the planning commission, is the existing residents that are not going to have access to their driveways because the apron of that roundabout.
Excuse me, I've got a question to Hennepin County if there's, what alternatives there are, but yeah, that is a concern.
I don't think that should affect the driveway that much myself, because you're just coming out of the roundabout, and you can take that left-hand turn right into your driveway.
I thought they were talking about some kind of apron or
The
curbing
median thing?
that would make a
Yeah.
left turn into there impossible, or a left turn out of there.
However, the one up here on Pineview doesn't have any kind of a median.
Yeah, but there aren't any driveways right there either.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just painted lines, then
Right.
they can just drive over them. But
It certainly could be designed that way if the county's on board with it.
So where are we running with this one? We got no different changes did that clear up yours as far as your number, in outs and all that?
around the numbers, yeah.
So
And we're not talking about the residents, but I was just curious because there was also a concern about the number of 40-foot lots. Does this show a reduction in, this version of it show a reduction in that?
yeah, so this area is unchanged, so the developer, and I'm going to say that this plan was received last week, so it's right before the EDA packets went out. This road was made, originally it was planned to be a private road. It's been widened to a public road. The plan in your packet, I think, is the more accurate one, and this is the older version. This street is connected to here, so this intersection has gone away. In these lots, and I apologize, I can't remember how wide they are, but they're, it's more continuous. So these are the wider homes that are along this street. But I couldn't tell you, I know they're not 40, or they weren't 40 to begin with, but I don't remember if they're 55 versus 60.
Well, did the total number of homes go down
Yes.
from the previous version? So that would suggest maybe there's some bigger lots.
Yeah.
So what about, I don't know what everybody thinks about the villas, how close they are. And I hate to say that what starts out as a concept plan eventually turns into the standard. So is that something that we want around the city? Because if it shows up, if they do it once, not they, but if it happens once, there's a chance it's going to happen somewhere else in the city.
You talking about the 40-foot wides?
Yeah.
Well, I would think the fire department has something to say about that.
So one of the comments or recommendations that came out of the plan commission was to have, so the original plan had 5-foot side yard setback, so 10 feet between houses, and the plan commission had recommended 7.5. So now it's 15 feet between homes.
Yeah, the planning commission hasn't seen this, the reduction, hasn't seen this.
And I think 7.5 is consistent with the R3 district.
Correct, yeah, that's the code standard for lots that are less than 62 feet, but in a standard R3 zoning district, the lot, I guess, distribution in sizes is limited to 30% of those lots being less than 62%, where the PUD flexibility request is related to the large amount of lots that would be under 62 feet overall. And then just for clarification, the original submittal for the preliminary plat had it was 103 40-foot lots in the original proposal, and then following planning commission discussion and recommendations to the developer, I think that number went down to 33 40-foot lots. So really it's going to be concentrated in that northeast area now, and with the reduction of lots from 266 to 253. So the developer certainly did rework the site to try and accommodate some of the recommendations from the planning commission already. I'm not sure, I believe that the city council will see this for discussion
Next week.
on the 25th. And then the revised preliminary plat will get reviewed and discussed, and ultimately the planning commission will make a recommendation on that in March.
To me, just go ahead.
We don't want to be sideways on this and start spinning out. You asked us about the commercial property, and we're talking about lot size.
Right.
And we're spinning ourselves sideways here, so we should focus on what we were asked versus,
Yeah.
that make sense to you guys? Yep.
And that
Okay.
was, my comment was about the retail piece is just, it seems unusual to me where the retail is located. You know, like, first of all, you gotta go around the roundabout to even get into it. And then it's over by the single-family homes versus, I would think you would put it, it makes more sense closer to what I guess would be called medium to high density up there.
In this corner?
Yeah, or in between the two, I guess. I mean, either way, you're bringing a new road in anyway. I mean, well, you're replacing a road with another road. It just seems really strange.
Yeah, the reason for that is you want access right to the main road.
I get the access to the main road, but I mean, you gotta go, you could go around the roundabout and then down the other road. I'm assuming the entrance to the retail's down there somewhere.
And do you want 5,000 cars going past your house?
Well, where is the entrance to the retail? Down?
The retail would enter through here.
Yeah, so you gotta go way down that road to get into the retail. It just seems like a strange retail design.
This here, whether this is a private access or public, it sounds like the recommendation, because of the separation is so shallow here, that it would be a right-in, right-out only to get out back onto the roundabout.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking from a retail space perspective. I mean, part of our remit, it would be, retail space that makes sense and is accessible and usable and it just seems strange to me. Like it would be more usable or there'd be more access for more people, maybe in a different location.
So the issue with the entrance here is that it's too close to the intersection. If this were flipped somewhere else, we'd still have the same problem.
Because you're not going to allow them to come off of the county road.
Correct.
All right, we got to keep moving here.
It seems like we would have the same problem no matter where it is. I mean, look at that plot. There's houses all over. And, unless located even further south, and there's, already houses being built on 81 and Fernbrook there.
Are they going to allow the entrances for Deans to continue then?
No, that would go away. So in order to get to Dean's, it would be through this development.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they don't really have a choice.
Correct.
So if you're gonna
That's
do
going
that,
to pretty much put
you
them
know,
out
like
of
penalize
business,
them.
isn't it?
Well,
Obviously,
Dean's is more of a destination restaurant, so I don't think it gets a lot of drive-through
Okay.
traffic.
Any other changes on that one you guys want to talk about? You good? Just
I'm good. So
my only question is, does the EDA, and I think Tim, you addressed this, does the EDA approve of, the said retail? Does that have, you know, do we have any say in it, or is there already things being negotiated for that retail area?
So the developer's intent is that the retail portion would be platted as an outlot and then redeveloped as there's individual users that are identified. So this will come back to the EDA once there's no, if there is going to be a gas station or a daycare, you'll see it again.
This is this concept.
No, this is preliminary plat.
Oh, prelim.
Yeah. So, for example, if you thought, commercial retail is inappropriate for this area, this is the time to say that, but that's not been the indication from anyone.
I personally don't see a problem with it, but I don't have to live next to it. Anybody else?
Agree with Tim. I don't see a problem with it. We as a city have to address the needs of all those residents. And,
So I hear no from both the Daves. Sean? Problem, no problem?
I don't have a problem with, no, I don't have
Guys?
a problem with it.
No issue.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the
Zero
concept.
change.
Okay, thank you.
Next one, DDL Oppidan concept plan, and we're running a little late, so we'll have to condense this.
Yeah, I can just be brief in my my discussion here. Oppidan Inc. has submitted a concept plan for a piece of property that's over 32 acres on the southeast corner of Dayton Parkway and 117th Avenue North for a proposed construction of a 200,000 square foot speculative building, kind of building off of that roundabout that is that last leg of the roundabout that's proposed here. And with a conceptual design of commercial, but the applicants have really asked for focus to be put on the first phase of this development, which would be that speculative building of 200,000 square feet. Property is currently zoned ag, so it would have to go through a rezoning process and preliminary plat. The applicant has stated that they're not looking or interested in applying for a planned unit development, so this would follow the standard I-1 zoning that would have to get rezoned to. And then additionally, the comprehensive plan amendment does have the designation of industrial and then business park as well within this area. It's kind of split between the three properties, but both of those land use designations within the comp plan support warehouse and distribution. So generally, just looking for feedback on high level design of this site, and we'll definitely pass any of your considerations or recommendations along to the applicant.
So it's just another warehouse, basically.
Yes, essentially.
Where's that roundabout? Is that Dayton Park? That's Dayton Parkway?
Dayton Parkway, and then this would be the Cubes building right up here, where States
Okay.
Manufacturing is moving into. And then this is a future road extension that would go down and connect into 113th Avenue in the Dayton Industrial Park.
Well, you keep us up to speed on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good?
So I don't know that it's our deal, but I have some concern about another spec. warehouse
That's where I'm
being-
at.
Mhm.
Seems like
Since we still have half the cubes and
Yeah.
other space in that vicinity that's available. And I don't know that we have a role in saying you can't build a building with no tenant, but it is a concern of mine that it's going to be another empty building for a while.
Yeah, certainly. I think that's a great consideration. And just to build off of that, I think the Opus building still has roughly 60,000 square feet in there that is still available for rent. I think that they would plan for at least one or two additional tenants in there on top of Turbine Pros. But I will say that I think this was in the packet as well, that of all the hundreds of thousands of square feet of spec buildings that have recently been built, with Turbine Pros moving into Opus and States Manufacturing moving into half of the cubes, that's 630,000 square feet of what was anticipated to be warehouse and distribution that is now manufacturing. So it was just a note that we wanted to, because I know that there's been the discussion on how much is too much of a warehouse and distribution facility. So just having that context in mind for the discussion.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I think it depends on how they do my assumption is the spec building is all loading docks, like all the rest of them, versus something different. I mean, you can build spec buildings for things other than loading docks, but I'd have the same concern as Dave. It's just seems like we keep talking about not maybe having so much just all warehouse, and that's all we keep
Sure.
having is warehouse.
Yeah, that's exactly what the elevations do show on one of the sides of the building is,
Oh, it's all
Garage
docks,
doors.
full
yeah,
of docks.
yeah.
Do you have recommendations?
Is there any sort of TIF incentiment on this building at all, or?
No.
No, okay.
Area's kind of developed.
But there is a issue with extending the sewer that
Uh,
somebody's gonna have to pay for.
Yep, it's a longer conversation, but this project would be it needs sewer and water. Sewer and water is quite some distance away, and so it is extending sewer and water to this project into likely 117th. So I guess two questions. One is if there's any recommendations on, on this building from the EDA, but the second is more of a comment. During the master plan discussion, both the council and the planning commission recommended considering moving Dayton Parkway. We did have that conversation with the developer. They have the sketch to the left shows moving it to the east around the pond. What this does is it makes the building unlikely to be built early because there'd be no truck docks at all. And then kind of raises the question, if Dayton Parkway moved to the east, where would it go beyond that, from that point on? So we'll have a deeper discussion when this goes to the planning commission and the council in March. But I wanted to point that out to the EDA.
I think from an EDA perspective, my comment would be, we don't need more, we need more jobs, not warehouses, for the city. I mean, therefore, I would, from at least my perspective, from a business perspective, I don't think we're doing the right things to increase our tax base in Dayton by putting another warehouse in.
Sure. So the zoning does allow both manufacturing and warehouse distribution here in the I-1 district. I'll add in the southwest corner of Dayton, warehousing is limited to 50% of the building. So I don't know if that's a direction that the city wants to consider going is, if you're going to have a warehouse, it has to be associated with the business that's there, not just all warehouse.
Just not all warehouse. I mean, that's a step in the right direction, for sure.
Okay. That it?
Right.
Really didn't cover much other than, let's see where this thing rolls.
Yep.
I don't think we're in the business of telling companies what to and what not to do, especially if they got a piece of property they can use.
That is your.
Well,
you-
primary
you
core
have that
function,
built.
yeah, for the city, not for the business. Vision goals, EDA, we gotta really shorten this up because we gotta make our closed session. We all been a part of the goals and visions before that Ellert's brought to us. Does anybody have any changes to that? Because we gotta shorten this up. Anybody got any change to that?
I don't think changes, but I think that we've not done a lot at, specifically
Achievement.
working on them. I think they're still good goals for the most part. I'm a little bit concerned about goal number 5 in this city center area, which doesn't, to me, really feel like the city center anymore. We've talked about it being somewhere else. And so I don't know if that's still relevant, but I think there's a bunch of different points in there around data collection that we've not had the
We've not
ability
done
to
at all.
do.
Right.
But I think we should take a harder look at those and see which numbers we should be collecting, because I think if we have some data, that can help drive us towards specific tactics.
What do you propose, or you want to do a separate line ad for the next meeting to talk specifically about those?
I think that'd be good.
Okay. John, would you make that happen for the next meeting, please?
Yep.
Anybody else agree with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right. We're going to jump to, okay, staff and board updates. We just need some yes, no's here to push this through. You're up.
Thank you. Let's see. In a thing, we'll talk about this again. The EDA had requested to meet with the council. I guess my question for the EDA is how much time do you need? The council has several workshops that are scheduled through April. If we can keep it to a half hour, we can go on February 25th. Otherwise, it gets bumped to April if you'd like more than a half hour.
Thinking of February, half hour?
Yep.
Should be able to handle that.
You would think.
5 minutes.
You want 5 minutes? Let's take the 18th.
February 25th.
February.
25th.
Does that fit your schedules? Is this a one thing or an all thing?
Is this,
I'm sorry?
Is this a one thing or an all thing?
I just need agreement from, it's not a vote.
No. Do you want us all in front of
Oh,
council?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have an opinion, you should come, yeah.
Well, yeah, I just want to,
Yeah.
maybe the rest of us want to go.
Yeah.
Second
and
schedule?
this is just the discussion on all forfeited properties or a specific forfeit?
It's two properties
The two properties, the triangle and,
in the village.
all the one in the village,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Dave, 25th work for you?
Yes. I don't know if that's a vote, but
And so you guys know it's gonna be in the 4:30, 5 o'clock area.
Yep. The afternoon.
yes.
5 o'clock.
All good?
5 to 5:30, basically, what we're
Yep.
talking about.
How about you, Juan?
Let me get back to you on that, Tim. I'll check my schedule.
All right, moving on. Elevate Hennepin County Snapshot.
Yep.
Now, if I remember right, I sent Elevate Hennepin County. Wasn't the EDA in charge of paying for that bill last time? The Elevate?
Yes.
So how come we got asked to not be part of that as far as,
We are part of it.
okay, I think council had to make a vote on it, and they said, their attorney said that they wanted main council's vote, not EDA's vote. Does that make sense?
That was related to a property that's in the name of the city versus the name of the EDA.
Okay.
Not the Hennepin Elevate.
Elevate, okay.
Yep, so Elevate Hennepin is a county program that assists small businesses with improving. So within the packet, they're calling it a snapshot of what they did for Dayton. So there are 5 businesses that utilized their services in 2024. I do not know which businesses they were, but it was 5 businesses and 141 hours of assistance.
Okay. Great. We good, moving on? Damage abandoned utility boxes, any traction there?
No updates.
Zero updates. Railroad Spur, any updates?
No.
Any attempt to contact since?
No, so the last conversation I had with Sunstone is, yes, they're still interested in putting in a railroad spur, but not at this time.
When would that conversation take place?
I'm going to say it was this summer or so. It was the time that we last discussed it at EDA.
So the last time we talked about it?
Yeah.
And the boxes, when did you contact the telco on that? Recently?
I have not. I've not had time to do that.
Well, then there's going to be no traction.
Right. So the direction from the EDA was to include an article in the Dayton Communicator, so we'll do that for the next one.
And I can't help but think that we should also be talking to BNSF to make sure that, you know, they will support that rail line between downtown Minneapolis and Monticello.
Yeah,
For Dayton.
I thought that was the action, was the first thing was to see if the railroad had any interest at all and whether,
They do, but they're not going to pay for it.
okay.
Yeah, whoever wants it's gonna have to pay for it.
Right. Well, at least they're on board. If you want to pay for it, we'll put it in.
So what do you suggest we do with this? We direct staff to make that question?
What the question's been asked. So BNSF would support a spur there. It's just they're not going to build it themselves.
So I guess the question is, then Simstone, would Simstone pay for it? Right?
Well, maybe it's a joint effort between Simstone, BNSF, and us.
I mean, currently, nobody wants it, so I mean,
Well, if they don't want it, then...
until somebody wants it, it's a dead issue, I think.
Okay.
That's what I think.
You all agree to that?
Well, And I would just say that from the EDA standpoint, at least we have a basis for discussion of properties and businesses along the rail corridor, that we can tell them, if you want a rail spur, this is how it's going to work.
So send out some kind of a flyer to the local businesses that would somehow have this questionnaire out there?
Not necessarily, but again, when discussing properties that the EDA is dealing with, and there's a question of rail spur, we can answer that question. Say, well, yeah, you can have one, but you'll have to pay for it. Okay. And then I think, Tim, you said, that might be something that the EDA may choose to get involved in if, in fact, that property with the rail spur adds a lot of value to the commercial properties in Dayton.
So do we need direction on, are we asking the question?
No, when staff has conversations with area businesses, we can ask if they have any interest in rails. And we had asked that question of States Manufacturing, and they had no interest in rail. So that's
I can
just
ask one right
example.
now. No. Not a thing for you? You can't roll in equipment on transport?
Transportation. We already have our own transportation department. That's what we use. We have no reason to use the
Rail.
Would the auto auction do anything with
No,
rail?
they would put it on carrier,
Yeah, that's what they do now.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just think maybe if somebody wants to ask for it, they could probably certainly do that. But
I mean, you
unless,
could also-
unless they don't know we're asking to ask, then how would they know we're even?
I mean, those property, like the Triangle property, I mean, if you're going to market it, I mean, you could put that as a potential advantage as people are looking at it. I mean, there's that.
This more hits our big space areas. Big cubes, big stuff.
Well, I know, but I mean, you're going to have to put the spur's got to go somewhere along the track there, right?
It is. There's land for a spur next to Semstone. Well, actually, it's on Semstone's property. Yeah.
Well, if anyone's gonna utilize this spur, it would be Semstone.
Haul in their
And
product, yeah.
If they don't want it, then
What did they say they don't want, or they're just not interested at this time?
Not at this time. So they are interested in it, just not now.
And they don't want to build it?
They would have to build it. I think they would be the main customer.
Yeah.
Okay, well then. Fight for another day? Sidewalk. Sidewalk repairs, old villages should have been under old business. This is why I want to continue our old businesses and we don't drop off our thing. Have they fixed that down there?
I don't think they've done anything in the old village
It
since
hasn't
they,
been done since fall, it's not done now.
no. They blacktopped that one in front of the one house across from the liquor store like a year or two ago. It was real uneven, and I think they blacktopped it because of safety concerns. But there was, a couple years ago, there was some push to like even up the sidewalks. They're all cracking and sinking, and so
Kind of a blight.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good. I mean, it's probably as much of a safety issue as anything, but, yeah, nothing's been done.
I believe it's in our long-term plan to replace the sidewalks in 2029. If there's anything that's a tripping hazard, that can be done now. Well, not now, but this season.
Yeah, that's what they did. They
You do
blacktopped
concrete
stuff.
lift up and level those out. Relatively easy.
Simple.
Well, again, I just want to make sure this stays on our radar so we don't get dropped off.
Well,
This is what happens when we move on and then we get things going and the shiny things down the
So you're
road.
saying 2029 is,
That's the full replacement. If you see something, you holler up, right?
So, Tim, you want all these to be on old business then?
Yep.
Okay.
Does the county have any responsibility for those sidewalks?
No. Certainly wouldn't think so.
I don't know. I think there's probably some because if it's in the right of way, but it's a city sidewalk.
What's the members update?
That's you. If,
does we have anything?
I don't think we have any more updates to talk about, do we? Anybody want to throw something in at?
Nothing for me.
Scott? Negative.
Okay.
All right, closed session. We're a little behind schedule. Pursuant to Minnesota State Statute 13D.05, subsection 3C, 3, a closed session shall be conducted to develop or consider offers or counteroffers to the pursuant of a sale of a real estate property located at 18771 Robinson Street, Dayton, Minnesota 55327, and the PID is 36, 121, 23, 41, and 0020. We'll now go into closed session.
Yep. Give me 1 second.
Live, okay. We are back in open session pursuant to Minnesota statute 13D.05, subsection 3. We are back in. All right, next EDA meeting will be Tuesday, March 18th. Actually, it'll be February 25th. It will be a joint session with the main council.
I looked at my calendar. I can't make the 25th, but that's fine. You guys go ahead.
Okay. Dave, are you there still?
No,
Dave's not there,
he's
okay.
off.
All right, let's pull the pin. I'm going to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Ooh, yeah.
Session's closed.